So the photos we have taken I've now put onto Photoshop, edited them, and these are the final things I've created, and I've now just got to decide which ones I want to actually make into a poster. So this first image here I've already shown you before. All I've changed really is the sort of colouring. It's a bit darker now, so the theme of isolation and sort of negative atmospheres and sort of doomed fates and things like that can all sort of be analysed from the darker lighting now in this image. I'm hoping somehow if I do use this image to add some sort of smoke to the cigarette, so I can make it look more realistic and maybe then link it to the text somehow. I just really like this image and the fact that she's looking directly at the camera, so you've got direct address. Is also, she looks very serious and stern. You don't really get a lot about her personality from this image, so you don't know that how evil she is, which truly is, but it's just very clever and interesting, and you can read into it and interpret it in many different ways. So I think it's quite an interesting one to use for a poster that people might question. So the next image is just the individual image of Lola again. It's just different positioning again, so I've made the lighting very dark, so again you've got shadows on her face, and you're not, sort of, it's creating sort of enigma codes and shadows and things like that, so you don't know what's around the corner. She's dressed the same as she was before, so you could analyse that. The idea of the floral dress sort of deceives her true identity, so deception, which is another key theme in film noirs. You've got the cigarette in both these images, which is a common code and conventional film noirs, a common prop. She's got the red nails and the red lips. I know they're not in colour, but you can tell she's still wearing it, which I also liked about these two images with the lighting, which is another colour associated with the femme fatale. You've got direct address again, and so you're not given too much away, and you just got the plain background, so I can write on it and add text to it wherever I like on a white background, and it will still be quite effective. The image after that, this is one of my favourite ones that we took on the day. So I've changed the lighting here so that you can see the bricks more clearly, and it's just everything's a little clearer and defined. So you can again analyse this image. You've got the dark alleyway, which has got the themes of isolation attached to it. Hidden identity, you're not seeing Simon's face here, so you're not aware of who he is, how he's linked to the story at all. You're not giving anything away, so you don't know much, so you then want to go and see the film. As well as that, you've got the two props in his hand, so you've got the cigarette in the left hand and the gun in the other hand, which all are common props in film noir, so you're sort of given hints there. You've also got the lamppost in the background, so you can bring in the idea of heritage, so using old themes from film noirs, and we've adapted it and made it into a modern interpretation of a neo-noir. So again, we've highlighted that sort of idea with that prop. I just like the way it looks really effective, and the walls going down either side make it look very narrow, so he looks isolated and sort of trapped. And you've also got the weather on the day was perfect for this. It's got the rain on the floor, so you can tell it's something sort of pathetic fallacy, sort of it's a sad atmosphere, doomed fate type idea. You don't know what's to come. You can also analyse his costume here. You've got the black and the white, so again they're colours of old fashioned things, so you've got the interpretation of using the film noir ideas in a modern scenario. You've also got the actual connotations of the colours, so the black being evil and representing danger and things like that, and the white representing innocence, so you can sort of analyse his character a bit, so the audience are given more than they realise. You've got the black, so that you know he's going to be somehow evil or corrupt. You also got the white, so maybe you're then aware of the fact that it's not completely his fault. He's maybe been turned corrupt by someone else, which you do actually find out in the film is true. So this is another shot of Simon. You've got him from the other view this time, so you can see his identity. So maybe for a marketing idea, you could have the previous image as a poster, and then as the film gets nearer to its release date, then have this one shown, publicised, so that you've got the idea of enigma codes coming through, so you're learning more and more as it gets nearer to the film, so you're more intrigued to go and see it. So just what I like about this picture is the bricks in the background. It's quite simple and plain, but the lines could represent barrows or something to hint to the audience that he's trapped in the plot of the story. There's something to do with the fact that he's the victim in some way. You've also got Like I said earlier, the costume colours, so the white, innocence, purity, contradicting with the black, so you've got the idea of that he's corrupted in some way, and also bringing in traditional colourings from sort of film noir, black and white, old-fashioned ideas. You've got cigarette in his hand, which is another coded convention of film noir, and just it's sort of a yellow sepia sort of colour, so it's a bit different to just normal colouring over a picture to make it a bit more interesting for the viewer to look at. And then the fact he's not looking at the camera shows he's not as confident as Lola was with her director dress, looking away, looking at something that you can't see or the audience can't see. So again, Enigma codes, you want to know where he's looking and what he's looking at and the story that goes with it. As well as that, he looks quite relaxed in his manners with his hand in his pocket, stuff like that, which could all be analysed to show that he's not probably realised what's happened. Again, another hint to the plot of the story, and just gives the audience a lot of unanswered questions that they want to find out. So this is an image of all three characters, probably the favourite one we took of all three of them. I like the dark lighting again, so it's not completely black and white, so we're not using the traditional film noir poster images you would have. However, we've still got the themes of like the doom atmosphere and the darkness, isolation, all of those sort of ideas that come with it, still because it's so dark. Again, you've got the use of the alleyway, so again, isolation, barriers, etc. But this time you can see all three reactions. So the way they're positioned, you can show their dominance within the film. So this is a bit like a lot of the LA Confidential advertisement in the way they sort of are ranked in their importance in the film, in their positioning and how close they are to the frame. So you've got Lola, the femme fatale, right in front, pointing the gun directly to the camera, so you've got direct to address, and also to sort of fear her, because you know she's a dangerous character with that sort of prop in her hands. As well as that, you then got Simon, who is a bit further back, and has got sort of a shocked reaction on his face to the fact Lola has a gun, which again gives you hints to the sort of storyline and who the characters are like. And then even further back than that, you've got Charlie looking again to where Lola's positioned with the gun, but this time, and also looking quite confused, but further back, but as he's less important in roles within the film. You've got the idea of Enigma codes because you don't know who she's pointing to with the gun. It looks like it's the audience member to scare you and draw your attention to the image. As well as that, you've got sort of puddles on the floor again, so you can tell it's like pathetic fallacy, like I said earlier. You can also analyse the puddles as sort of reflection. They create reflections of the characters to represent the idea of two personalities. People aren't who they seem, sort of hidden identities. It's also got the colouring here. They're all in some sort of black to show sort of corruption, the idea that they're all evil in some way. However, by their reactions and the sort of positions they have, you can tell Lola, the femme fatale, is the most corrupt and evil within the frame. If I was to use this image, and I probably will, as one of the main posters, I can write the text above right up in the sky, also down below by Lola's legs. I can also use the brick walls to my advantage by writing on them, as it's quite a plain background, and you can still see the background if I did add the text on top of that. I can also contrast the colours here, so I can have like a white font, quite bold colourings to contrast with the black colour of the image. So this is the other image I have of the three of them, which I've edited. I've made this one a bit lighter than the other image, so it's sort of still got the natural colourings to it. I like the positioning of this one as well, so this time we've converted the normal forms you get within a sort of the proximities and positioning of the characters. This time the two men are in front, as if to sort of confuse the audience, so it looks like they're the main characters. However, her positioning in the middle still gives her quite a lot of authority, and also the gun obviously gives her a lot of power, and looking directly at the camera. I like the fact that both males are looking into the camera as well, so again they all look quite intimidating together. This time again they're all in black, to show they're all sort of corrupt in some way. However, the fact that Lola has the gun gives her the power. They're both leaning against the wall, the two men, so they look quite relaxed. Simon's hood up at this point again makes him look very intimidating as well. Whereas Lola's standing upright in the middle, so she looks less relaxed but still in complete control of the situation. You've again got the deserted alleyway, isolated walls on either side. It's a really good setting to use. I probably put the writing again in the sky to sort of cover up the bareness, and the house in the background, as it sort of ruins the effect of the sort of isolation idea. But apart from that, it's quite effective. So this is the image I decided to use of the two males. I thought I should have one. I thought for the posters I should really have one of each character. Then I found this one, which I thought was quite effective with the two males, and then one group of all three of them. So I just like their positioning in this image. They're both looking away from the camera. Charlie looks quite distressed with his hand up to show you sort of nervous character. You've also got Simon looking down as if he's thinking about something that's happened. He looks quite sad and depressed over the idea as well, so you've got the themes coming through of the film. As well as that, I've cut the lighting quite natural, made it a bit darker and emphasised the lines on the brick again to represent the idea of barriers, so they look isolated as well with the high walls. You've got the puddles again on the floor to emphasise the sort of chaotic and pathetic fallacy ideas. You can still see the lamppost in the background, and yeah, I think it's quite effective, and it leaves you with a lot of unanswered questions about the film and what to expect. You could also analyse their clothing, so Simon's in white here to show that the sort of character he is. The fact he was turned corrupt with the use of the black tie shows that he's got some dangerous elements to him. Whereas Charlie here is dressed in all black, but then you can see through his leather jacket the blue shirt and the red tie, so the red again links in with the danger element, sort of a warning maybe. But also you've got the blue shirt in the background as well to highlight the idea he's innocent in many ways as well, that he's trying to cover up something. So this is the final image I edited, and this is the individual poster I'd make for Charlie's character. And what I really like about this picture is positioning again, so you've got Charlie looking on the floor, looking quite confused to reflect his sort of character he has in the film. Analysing his actual clothing, so you've got the red tie like I said earlier, which shows sort of the colour connotations of danger and also a warning, contrasting with the blue shirt which he's hiding underneath a black jacket, so you can analyse that as a sort of idea he is innocent but he's hiding it over this corrupt and evil character that he shows in the film. I like the way the lighting and the way I edited it. You can see the indents of the bricks really well, sort of really defined, to emphasise a sort of isolation and how high the brick is and the wall is, sort of covering him. The way he's leant on the wall shows he's quite relaxed, and you've got a cigarette in a hand again, which is another coding convention of film noir. You can still see the lamppost in the background, so the idea of old traditions comes in there, and it just, I think it looks quite effective, and you can read into it quite a lot, and it also leaves you with a lot of unanswered questions which you'd want to find out the answers to by going to see the film. I can use the brick wall here to write the text on, so the title and things like that, and I think it just is quite effective.